सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यः ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यः वंशर्षिभ्यः महद्भ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः। So now we are on the passage number 20. Describing the freedom that the Atma has by nature, it was stated, just as a great fish at will moves from one bank of the river to the other, so also the self moves from the two states of waking and sleep at will, goes and comes back. तद्यथा अस्मिन् आकाशे श्येनो वा सुपर्णो वा विपरिपत्य श्रान्तः. So also in the passage 19 it was said that just as in the space there is this hawk or a falcon, it flying in the sky, then when it becomes tired, विपरिपत्य श्रान्तः संहृत्य पक्षौ संललाय एव ध्रियते. This big powerful bird also, having flown during the whole day, becomes tired in the evening and therefore stretches its wings and then moves or repairs towards its own nest. Evameva Am Purushaha Etasmi Antaya Dhavati. And so also I explain, describing the sleep. So also this Atma, Dhavati, runs towards that state where he is free from all desires as well as dreams. Etasmai Antaya Dhavati. He Dhavati runs towards that anta, that state. Yatra supto na kanchan, when he is sleeping, does not have any desires, nor does he see any dream. That is the desireless and dreamless sleep. So this way, that Atma has no connection with the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. Just as a fish has no relationship or connection with the either banks of the river, so also in deep sleep also he becomes merged in ignorance in his own nature. But in the deep sleep, so that way the lack of the connection of Atma with the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state is all shown. But one may feel that still Atma is ignorant. How about ignorance? Because in all the three states, ignorance persists. And therefore, is ignorance or is Atma connected to ignorance? So avidya sambandhopi nasti. Now, next one wants to tell us that Atma has no connection with ignorance also. So I find myself like you, turning pages, Next passage is meant to show that Atma has no relationship, connection, association with ignorance also. So we are in the passage 20th. Tava asya etaha hitanamanadyaha yatha keshaha sahasradha bhinnaha tavata animna tishtanti shuklasya neelasya pingalasya haritasya lohitasya purnaha. So let us look at this part. This is describing the hitanam nadya. There are very fine nerves which are called hita around in the heart region. Yatha keshaha sahasratha bhinnaha. Imagine a hair split in 1,000, not vertically split, So hair itself is very fine, and imagine the hair being split in 1,000, units. So how fine would that be? So that is how fine these nerves called hita are. And these nerves are filled with different colors. So, shuklasya, neelasya, pingalasya, haritasya, lohitasya, purnaha. Different serums. So these little fine nerves are filled with serums of different colors. Some are therefore they being transparent, therefore they look the same color. So some are white, some are blue, some are yellow or brown rather, pingalam. Haritasya red, haritasya green, lohitasya red, purnaha. So these fine nerves are filled with serums of different colors, and therefore, they being transparent, they also look having the same color. So this is where now in the dream state, this is where Atma is. Right? So Atma during the waking state is in the extremities of sense organs, and so he perceives the sense world and also organs of action. He responds to the world. In the dream state, then he withdraws from the extremities, which is waking, into the nerves called the hita, which are described as very fine nerves and filled with different color serums, and therefore those nerves also look colored. So this is where Atma is in the state of dream. I guess the doctors may have some later on some comment on this, as to whether there is any evidence of medical evidence of this kind of nerves being there, appearing with this kind of colors. And of course, there is no way for even them to tell whether or not the dream state, the self rests or goes into these nerves. But this is how Vedanta teaches us that in the waking state, Atma is in the sense organs. Dream state, Atma is in the nerves called Hita. In deep sleep state, Atma is in the heart. Then the passage says, Atha yatra enam gnantiva jinantiva hasti iva vichayati gartam iva patati yadeva jagradbhyam pashyati tadatra avidyaya manyate atha yatra devah iva raja iva ahameva idam sarvam asmi iti manyate saha asya paramo lokaha. So when he is in these nerves called hita, he is experiencing the dream state, or for experiencing dream state, let us say, he goes to these nerves called hita. And what are his experiences in dream state? Sayatrenam ghanantiva, jinantiva, hastiva, vichadayati. As though people are killing him in the dream, this kind of experiences this jiva has. Jinantiva, as though he is overpowered. Hastiva vichayati, he is chased by an elephant. So that was happening in Anigatti, At night the elephants used to come. And sometimes out of curiosity, people would go out to watch them. And if the elephant spots one of them, and then if he feels like, then he comes towards them. And this fellow starts running, and an elephant chases him. So not unusual, this experience is there. So hastiva vichayati or vichadayati dravayati, like an elephant, chases him or pursues him. So these are the kind of experiences when gains in the dream. I haven't experienced that the elephant is chasing me or whatever, but this is what, or somebody is killing me, or somebody is overpowered. But depends on the waking state, what kind of experiences you have. Similar experiences you may have in the dream state. Gardam iva patati. he falls in a very, in a well or something like that. But that is about eva, as though he is chased by an elephant, as though he falls in a big pit. That eva or as though means that it is not real. The dream is, the experiences are similar to waking state, and when we are experiencing dream, we feel that this is real, but in fact it is not real, and that is what indicated by eva, as though. Yadeva jagrat bhayam, whatever fear he experiences in the waking state, tadev asmin swapne avidya vasanatma kriya. So, now what kind of karma becomes manifest at that time? If for this person is karma of adharma, whatever sins he may have performed, or he may have violated some values or norms, etc., which we do. When a person acts out of anger or greed or lust, then in all likelihood the person will violate the value. Because then the person is not doing things, it are the impulses that force him to do things or impel him to do things. So whenever a human being acts out of an impulse, in all likelihood he or she will violate. Then action will be violence. We may later regret it, and I wish I had not done it, I had not said it, I had not thought it. But when anger takes over me, so it is kama, krodha, lobha, these are the impulses. When they take over us, then they determine what we say, what we think, and what we say and what we do. Later on we may regret, but this is what happens. So, all these kind of things which he may have wound up doing in the waking state, this would be called papa, or the vicious act, virtuous act and vicious act. There are punya karma also and papa karma also during waking state. And every karma leaves impression in our mind. If there is an accumulation of punya karma, there may be the impressions of punya or the virtuous impressions. If there is accumulation of the papa karma or the vicious impressions, that also may be there. In the dream then, depending upon karma, some of these impressions will become manifested. So dream is the result of these samskaras or impressions that are stored in our mind. Those impressions become the dream world, meaning that it is mind that projects the dream world, but the basis upon which the mind projects the dream world are the samskaras or impressions which is gathered during the waking state. It may not be the waking state of the same day, most likely, but not necessarily. And as you said yesterday, it could be due to the impressions which may arise from the past births also. In some subconscious, unconscious mind, this may be there, and then they may become manifest during deep sleep. That is the explanation that we are trying to give in order to explain experience and dream which are inexplicable. Swami, I never saw this person. I never experienced this. How did it happen? So you say that in dream, only what we experience, that generally happens. But sometimes things happen that we have not experienced. Then they say, not in this birth. Vedanta, because they have previous births also. So you may have carried impressions for past births also, and they may manifest as experiences in dream. So Prashnopanishad says that from the past also, it describes a dream state, and so thus when you have this fear, and when you have all these frightening experiences, then it means that it is a result of the adharma or the vicious actions that we may have performed. Yadeva jagradbhyam pashyati tadatra avidya manyate. Whatever frightening things he may experience in the waking state, this is what he experiences as though in the dream state because of ignorance. Avidya manyate. At that time he is not being chased by an elephant. He is not being overpowered by somebody. But he feels that I am being overpowered. He feels the same kind of pain or pleasure that a real experience would create, and that is out of ignorance. Tat avidyaya manyate. So that what is described there as unpleasant experiences were the result of the adharma or the vicious actions that we may have performed in the waking state. Dharma sahakrutam tam tasadarshayati. Then also we may have done some virtuous actions and they also manifest in the dream state. So the passage says, Athayatra devahaiva rajaiva ahameva idam sarvosmiti manyate. Devahaiva, I am a god. So how does that happen in dream? Because he has performed a lot of upasana, meditations, prayers, etc. during the waking state to a devata, or he may have experienced also in the meditation an identification of devata. I mean, your meditation can, become exalted to a point when you become identified with the devata that you worship. If that is what has happened in the waking state, in the dream state also, he as though becomes a devata, becomes a god, Rajaiva, or like a king. Jagrat Kalina, Devadi, Upasana Janita, Tattat Vasanavashat. What upasanas, meditations he has done during the waking state, those samskaras, when they arise in dream, then that is what he experiences, that I am God, I am a Devata, I am a Raja. How about if the moksha avastha? That also is experienced in dream state, that's what the Upanishad says. Ahameva idam sarvosmiti manyate. Ahameva idam sarvaha. I am myself indeed, all of these, I am the self of all. So that is his knowledge or experience during the waking state. So as a result of pursuit of knowledge, ultimately, he recognizes that I am all, I am the self of all. That's the reality. Depends on what I mean by the pronoun I. Usually, when I use the word I, it is in the sense of ego or an individual self. And therefore, I feel generally different from rest of the world. But as a result of this pursuit of knowledge, if I recognize the true dimension of I, right now that I experience is the result of the identification of the body-mind complex, and therefore I feel I am a limited being. That's called ego. But as a result of this pursuit of knowledge, when Atma Anatma Viveka takes place, meaning that when one is able to separate Atma from Anatma, that body is Anatma, prana is Anatma, sense organs are Anatma, mind is Anatma. Thus, the distance is there. Atma is indeed different from body, mind, and still there seems to be oneness because of the identification. Since in reality they are not one, therefore we have freedom again to be able to see the dual difference that there is. In reality, Atma is different from body. But because of ignorance, we take body to be ourselves. Then we have the freedom to create that distance and see that I am the witness of the body. I am the witness of the sense organs. I am the witness of the mind, various thoughts and emotions. Not only I am witness of those things, I am the illuminator. I am the consciousness which illumines. So witness, as I said last night, is also not in primary sense. Witness means illuminator. That I illumine everything. That's called I am witnessing everything. So one has a freedom to recognize that nature of oneself also. Habitually, of course, I take the body to be myself, and generally we live in that habit because of ignorance. But then with the teaching of the Vedanta, I have the freedom to create the distance which really is there. The distance is erased because of ignorance. And therefore, viveka or discrimination, it is possible to create the distance again, which is already what is there, and recognize oneself as different from this body, mind, sense complex. Then what is the nature I? Then I am devoid of all attributes. All attributes belong to the body, mind, sense complex. When I am different from them, I am free from all attributes. And therefore, attributeless, limitless, self I am. And how about you? You also, even though your body, mind, sense complex is different, the self that is you is again different from that complex. And therefore, in reality, you are also consciousness that is devoid of all attributes and limitations. Limitless consciousness I am, so also limitless consciousness you are, and so also limitless consciousness every living being is. One may or may not know, but that's the reality. When I recognize the reality, then I realize that I am the self of all. I am all in fact. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma, what is Ishvara, as Puja Swami used to say. What is Brahman, and that Brahman I am. Vedanta does not just stop there. What is the Ishvara is not a total complete equation. What is the Ishvara, and that Ishvara is I. That is when the equation is complete. So the real equation is what is I, or what is self. Then there is no duality whatever between I and anything else. So that's the reality. And when one has recognized that reality and abides in that reality during the waking state, then in dream state also his thought would be of the same nature. Aham edamidam sarvahasmiti, I alone am all this, I am all, which is a reality about ourselves. But because of this identification, we think that we are a limited self confined to this body. When the knowledge of the true self takes place, then I realize that what I am is what everyone else is, and therefore I am all. So what happens, Swami? I become all. I become. You recognize that you are all. When my identification of myself changes, who am I? Asti bhati priyam. What is my essential nature? What is it about me that does not change at all? As you say last night, now I'm a speaker, then I'm a listener, then I'm a walker, then I'm a talker. In all these various roles that I play throughout the day, what is common is I am. Like the crystal. appears to be of different color depending upon the cloth, the color of the cloth. So one crystal that can assume variety of colors, crystal cannot be red also, blue also, violet also. Then you wonder, what is this crystal? Now it appears violet, then it appears red, then it appears blue. One thing cannot be many, one thing can only be one. Therefore, the crystal must be that which is the common denominator of all this blue and the red and the yellow, meaning that the crystal is colorless. Only colorless crystal can appear, it can as though assume any color of the cloth or some substance that is lying beside that. So Atma is crystal clear, ever pure, transparent, and that is why it is like a sitting duck for all superimpositions. Like crystal is a sitting duck for superimposing any color of the substance which is beside that. And so if I show you this way, then well, the crystal will appear. Does it? Or this way should I show you? Maybe. Does it look color? Yeah, that's right. So Atma is like crystal, transparent, clear, colorless. And therefore it is sitting duck for imposition of any color of the substance that is beside that. And the upadhi is just beside the Atma. Therefore body, so it's a body imposes or superimposition of body takes place, mind takes place, intellect takes place. And Atma or I as though keep on, going through different identities. Now I am tall, I am sharp, I am a man, I am happy, I am unhappy, I am intelligent, I am smart, I am a doctor. My identification keeps on changing depending upon which aspect of my personality is being reflected in the self. So this is what is happening now. And when I really reflect upon how can I be, so many things. How can I be happy also, unhappy also, sad also, elated also, brother also, father also, sister also, whatever. How can I be so many things? That I must be the common thread among all of them, which is I am. Upon I am, all these are superimposed, just as various colors are superimposed upon the crystal. And so when I recognize ahamevedam sarvam, sarvosmiti, when I am nothing, then I am everything. When I am something, then I am nothing. When I am something, I am a Swami, I am this and that, then I am nothing else. Therefore, by assuming an identity, I have excluded everything else. Puja Swami would say, by saying this is my house, I am declaring that no other house is mine. The saying that I am so and so, I am declaring that I am nothing else. If you don't say that, in fact, case of house, of course, is a different thing. But here your freedom not to make yourself with attributes or yourself colored by or influenced by the attributes of the upadhi. So by habit we are identifying, so it requires now an effort to de-identify and recognize my true nature, that sarvosmiti, or aham sarvam, I am all, I am the self of all. So that means what? It means that I do not exclude anything. Right now, when I am in front of you, habitually my Conclusion is that you are different and I am different. You are there and I am here. And thus I exclude you and you respond to me in turn by excluding me. So this is how our life is. That is what Bhagavad Upanishad says elsewhere. That each one excludes the other. And so that is why we feel limited, we feel rejected. It says, if you look upon a Brahmana as different from you, then the Brahmana rejects you. If I look upon you as different from me, you reject me. I become rejected by you. No, Swamiji, I don't reject you, but you do. Because I am sure that I am not you and you are not me, and thus our relationship is one of mutual rejection. Really, that is how we relate to each other. I exclude you, you do not have entry beyond this boundary, and you say that you have no entry beyond that boundary. Thus, we form boundaries around each other, and that is how keep everybody else outside that boundary. More that boundary dissolves, the closer you are. And supposedly in love, the boundary completely dissolves, then you are one with your loved one. But that is more an experience rather than knowledge. But the knowledge, and that also is okay as an experience. That experience also will be described here. But then we will not be satisfied with ourselves. There will not be satisfaction in our life as long as we look upon others as different from me. Atman anyatra pashyati. Brahmatam paradad eha anyatra atmana brahma veda. This Upanishad elsewhere says, Brahmatam paradad. A Brahmana rejects this person who looks upon Brahmana as different from him. A Kshatriya rejects him who looks upon Kshatriya as different from him. Everyone rejects him who looks upon him, everyone is different from him. So we don't realize this. But then we habitually reject everybody by drawing a boundary around ourselves. In turn, we become rejected by everybody else. So how can there be happiness when we relate with this mutual exclusion? And so I constantly feel a sense of limitedness. How can there be happiness in our life? If by grace of God, by some past karma, by something, I forget that boundary, I get that ice cream which I wanted for a long time, and in an ecstasy of ice cream I forget this boundary. My sense of individuality dissolves with ice cream. And that time I feel that ecstasy, which is my true nature. Otherwise, again, when I come back, I superimpose the boundaries upon myself. So, sarvosmiti manyase, aham eva idam sarvaha, aham idam sarvam. The reality is that what you are is what I am. That body is not this body, or that mind is not this mind. We don't mean that there is an identity between the personalities. The person that you are is the person that I am. And this is an important meditation to perform. And particularly if you do not like someone, if you have a problem with someone, then you can meditate. That someone, what is the true nature of that someone? That body is different, that personality is different, but what about the person that is manifesting through that personality? That person manifesting in that personality, same person I am manifesting in this personality. So even though the personalities are different, the person is one. This is worth meditating, particularly with reference to some individuals with whom we have problem. Because moment we come in presence of the people or persons whom we do not like or who do not like us, there is a strain in me. I become stressed. There is a tension. How to avoid, how to get away, how to create distance. But then I take that person in my mind. What is that person that I dislike? What is in that person that I dislike? Oh, Swamiji, look at the nature of that person. Look at how he or she talks and how he dresses, etc., etc. All right, is that person? What is the essential nature of the person? When I separate that personality from the person, then I realize that the person that is in that personality is a person that is here. And more I identify with that person that I am devoid of this personality, more I will be able to see that oneness. That's what Vedanta wants to teach us. When there is oneness, then there is only happiness. Vedanta teaches non-duality. The purpose of non-duality is to erase all distances or all differences, which are there at a certain level, but not there at a given other level. Even though the participants are different in forms and shape, but still, as far as the essential nature is concerned, the clay, they are the same. And so the forms are different, but the essential nature is one. If this is how I meditate all the time, then in the evening, in the sleep also, aham eva idam, I am all of this, sarvosmi, I am all, iti manyate, asya paramo lokaha. In case this is how he deliberates or thinks during the day, then in the sleep also he will think like that. And that is the paramo loka. That is the most exalted loka, most exalted realm or most exalted state of this person. The Tikakara says, there is no word iva here. Earlier, yatra devaha iva, raja iva, as though he is a devata, as though he is raja, because that's not really so. But here, sarvosmi, not iva, because that's the real nature of mind. Therefore, that iva, which appears earlier, does not appear in this place. Same state, let us say, it happens in the deep sleep state, as I said yesterday. The deep sleep state is an illustration of moksha or freedom. Inasmuch as in deep sleep state also we are free from all complexes, free from all identifications, and therefore free from all complexes, and therefore free from all unhappiness. Because what makes me unhappy is a limited I. And so whenever I entertain a complex about me, that I am a man, I am a woman, I am so and so, that is where the seed of unhappiness is. That happens naturally. We are born with the nature of identifying with this body, mind, sense complex, and therefore born to be miserable. But Swami, why did Bhagavan do this? Why did he not give us the knowledge, Then how will this Bhagavan's world run? He has given the assignment to us. One Upanishad says that Bhagavan immersed all these fellows in the ocean of samsara. Then now you arise, and recognize your true nature. Different ways of describing, And so, this is the assignment given to us. Even though we are limitless, we are non-dual, still we feel limited, we feel separated, we feel, excluded. And that is the basic cause of unhappiness. It is not because I don't have something that I am unhappy, I have something that I am unhappy. They are not the real causes of unhappiness. The real cause of unhappiness is the sense of exclusion, which makes me feel separated and limited. If that is not there, then it doesn't matter whether I have a palace or I have a hutment or what I have. Nothing would matter to me when I am happy with myself. So that state happens in deep sleep. And therefore here, in the next two passages, that deep sleep state is described. On passage 21. So far the notes were closed, but they are all opening the book. So far you are listening with closed books or something. Different page? Alright, so page number 10. Page number 10, passage 21. Tadvai asya etat atichandaha apahata papma abhayam rupam tadyatha priyaya striya samparishvaktaha bahyam kinchana veda antaram evameva ayam purusha prajnena atmana samparishvaktaha bahyam kinchana veda antaram tadvai asya etat atmakamam aptakamam atmakamam akamam rupam sukantaram. Tadva asetah etat atichandaha. Atichanda, chanda here means the desire. So becomes free from all desires, free from all sankalpa or the will. And that word, chandaha, here chanda means the freedom, swachanda. Swachanda means one who is swachanda, who is free or independent, not controlled by anything else. Tadva asya etat atichandaha. Here is the person now in the deep sleep state, free from all the desires. Apahata papma, free from all the papa, the evil. Abhayam rupam, free from fear. This state of deep sleep, where you are free from fear, free from desires, beyond evil. Because desires belong to mind, evil also may belong to the mind, fear also belongs to mind. In a deep sleep state, we are free from the identification of the mind, and therefore all these various feelings or sentiments which belong to the mind, they are no more there, so we don't experience them. In the waking state also we have freedom to declare that fear is not my nature, it belongs to my mind. But in the deep sleep it happens on its own by Ishvara's scheme of things. And therefore, deep sleep is a good experience for us to meditate upon the true nature that look, there I was free from fear, free from any complexes, free from hatred, free from raga, free from dvesha. That is because that aspect of my being which created raga, dvesha, fear, etc., which is my body, my complex, I was free from identification, and therefore I was experiencing my true nature. Right now, I do have a notion or conclusion about myself, but that is not my true nature, unfortunately. Therefore, this experience of deep sleep is given to us to say, look, how come I become free from fear in the deep sleep state? How can I become free from unhappiness, sadness in deep sleep state? How can I become free from all needs in deep sleep state? That is because I am free from the mind, and so all of these things belong to the mind. And in essence, I am free from needs, I am free from desires, I am free from likes and dislikes. That is my essential nature. Apahata papma, free from all evil. Papa, punya, I am free from all of that. Abhayam rupam, in the deep sleep state, there is no fear, because there is no other. Upanishad says, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. The fear arises when there is someone different from me. The two need not create fear. It is division that creates the fear. What is division? What is mutual exclusion? I am not you and you are not me. That is the potential of creating fear. Two need not create fear. As long as the two like each other, love each other, then two need not create any fear. But two means when there is a division, that division creates the fear. The division is because of the body identification, which is not in deep sleep. Therefore, in deep sleep, I am free from fear. The mind feels inadequate, therefore, mind has desires. I have no identification with the mind, therefore, I am free from desires. Now, in deep sleep state, we do not have, there is samanya jnanam and vishesha jnanam. The waking state, I have samanya jnanam, there is consciousness, vishesha jnanam, that ghata jnanam, pata jnanam. So this ghata jnanam is the knowledge of a pot, pata jnanam is knowledge of class, and so forth. This is called vishesha jnanam. That jnanam or the knowledge is characterized by potness, ghata jnanam, clothness, pata jnanam, chairness, chair knowledge. So, in the waking state, when I come in contact with the names and forms, then the knowledge also is conditioned by that given name and form. So, in the waking state, we have conditioned knowledge. Conditioned by the objects I come in contact with, objects that I perceive, objects that I cognize. That is called vishesha jnanam, the knowledge, particular knowledge, or knowledge that is confined or limited to name and form. In the dream also there is a similar situation. In deep sleep, because I don't have a notion about myself as having a name and form, I also become free from perception of name and form. And therefore there I have general knowledge. I don't become unconscious in deep sleep state. That will come later, but we do not become unconscious in deep sleep state. We remain conscious, but we become free from the particular consciousness. It is sense organs and the mind which give us particular knowledge. When they are not, the knowledge is the nature of Atma. And Atma, through the mind and sense organs, gets particular knowledge of names and forms. When those sense organs are not there, then the particularity of the knowledge also is not there. In deep sleep, there is no particular knowledge of Ghatagyanam, Patagyanam. In deep sleep also knowledge is there, Jnanam is there. Knowledge is there, but then unqualified knowledge. In waking state, all my knowledge or cognition is qualified because of the sense organs and sense organs. In the sleep state, means there is no sense organs of the mind, therefore knowledge is the nature of Atma, so that is there. But it is not qualified because of the absence of the sense organs and mind. Some people believe that in deep sleep state of unconscious, there is no consciousness. The Buddhas believe that there is no consciousness in deep sleep state. What there is just void. What there is non-existence. And therefore they say that non-existence is the reality. See, that's what we experience in deep sleep state. If there was something that I would be conscious in deep sleep state, I am not conscious of anything. So in deep sleep state there is nothing. See, I am telling their view. That their view is that in deep sleep state there is nothing. Had something been there, I would have experienced and I would have had that particular knowledge as I have in waking state. In deep sleep state, I have no particular knowledge. Therefore, in deep sleep state, there is nothing. There is non-existence. There is shunyam. So deep sleep state is a state where our personality merges. So everything merges into shunyam in deep sleep. And that is the truth. That everything merges and emerges. That's called that's the basis. So everything merges into shunyam in deep sleep and emerges from shunyam when we wake up. Therefore shunyam is the nature of reality. That's how the Buddhas concluded and came with this conclusion that shunyam or void or non-existence is the ultimate reality. Vedantin says no. There is no non-existence in deep sleep state. There is no void in deep sleep state. Then what is there? The absence of the particularity in deep sleep state. Not absence as such. The absence of the universal is, the presence of universal is there, as in waking and dream. But in waking and dream, there is also the superimposition of names and forms because of sense organs and mind. Understand that it is sense organs that they perceive the differences. My eyes perceive the colors and my ears perceive the sound, etc. So all the particularities are perceived by sense organs. When they are not there, then you don't perceive particularities. That doesn't mean there is nothing. What is there is devoid of all particularities, but the universal is there, and non-particular is there. So in deep sleep state also there is consciousness, not of anything particular, but consciousness is there, and that is a reality. But in deep sleep state, there is no means of experience of external world because my sense organs are folded up. The mind also is sleeping, and therefore I am totally disconnected with the external world. I am disconnected with internal world also in a way. By internal world I mean my feelings, etc. Then what remains? Deep sleep state, what remains is myself. In deep sleep state, everything else is now excluded because the means of perception of the particular thing, namely sense organs and mind, are not there. So that doesn't mean there is shunyam or there is void in deep sleep. In deep sleep there is nothing particular, but the universal self remains. That's what the Upanishad says. He gives an example here of how we become devoid of any particular knowledge. Tadyathya priya striya samparishvaktah na bahyam kinyana veda na antaram. Gives an experience here in the waking state. So when we become free from knowledge, particular knowledge of external as well as internal, because we get merged into something. So experience of man and woman is given here. In that experience, both of them merge and become one, and therefore there is nothing, they don't know any external, no nothing of internal, and there is just oneness. It's an example given here. Evameva, in a manner similar to that, Ayam Purusha Prajnana Atma Samparishvaktaha. Similarly also, this person becomes embraced by the Jivatma, becomes embraced by Paramatma. What is Jivatma? Same Paramatma identified with the body-mind complex. When the identification is no more there, then all there is the self. So we can say that the Jivatma has as though has merged into Paramatma, become one with Paramatma, or identified with Paramatma. Therefore, I do not know anything other than myself. So thus deep sleep state is an example of the knowledge of the all experience of non-duality. Deep sleep state is not knowledge of non-duality, it is experience of non-duality. And therefore it is a very good example for explaining what non-duality is. And it also says further, we will continue our discussion. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Lakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo